what's happening right now, this is not an interview. You and I are having a conversation, which is very sexy, by the way. Right?
I think conversation is the new sexy.
Isn't that amazing how...
That's your hashtag, by the way. I want you to steal that.
When you're talking to somebody and things are this delicious, then you start looking at them and thinking, oh, I think I can do that. I mean, why not?
I'll try for that.
Yep, of course. But you know what I mean? That's when people say I'm an alpha, because I am one too.
Right.
Alphas can be controlled, and they can be controlled very easily. I think we don't want to be alphas. We are alphas because I had to survive as an alcoholic. I had to survive as a deeply closeted man. I had to survive as this and that. It's the only way I keep my shit together.
Right.
And I love talking to other alphas because it's a delicious dance. But deep down, it's a lot of work.
It is. It does get very tiresome, especially numbing yourself to be able to, I suppose... mingle with the common folk is what someone once said of an extremely high intellectual, is I have to numb myself to be one of the common folk. See, that's not offensive. I can say common folk because it's people not everyone is a fucking Neil deGrasse. You know what I mean? That's exactly the point. And that's same, you got to talk to someone like George Costanza every once in a while to get your feet grounded.
Listen, I am lower middle class, and I consider myself to be a gallerist for the lower middle class. Nobody wants to take that title. And I think it's sad because the problem with galleries in America is, and I've said this before, I've said this on other shows, in Europe, if you're on a date, you take your date to a gallery. In this country, if you take your date to a gallery, you're not getting sex and you won't see her or him again. Not happening. This is not the place you take a date to, Mm-hmm.
Plus, most galleries have extremely fucking awkward hours. Like, we're on the viewing only for a specific client. Have you come across... That's actually a new thing for me. I actually learned a tad about art, and I want to ask you a question about it. Okay. So, it's actually not even really about art. Is the art scene, you were saying it was cutthroat, is it as pretentious and... sexy, I suppose, in the provocative as it's displayed in the movies and such when it's doing like a kind of, I don't know how to say it.
I was just about to say everything that you know about the art world you've seen in the movies. So let me tell you about how that goes. Whenever they show, name any movie that shows an artist in New York, where do they usually live? In a gigantic loft in some warehouse.
In Soho, yeah.
In Soho, right. Not true.
Not happening.
They live on somebody's couch if they're an artist. And second of all, when they show you galleries, I've not yet, I can't remember of a single movie that shows the inner workings of a gallery from the back. Not the front, the store, but the back, The deals, the wheels, the stuff going on in the back. And it's because you could either say it's very boring or it's very dirty. And I think the reality of it is it's...
Are you just talking about the back of house and or are you talking about the whole the concept of the back end?
The business of it, It's an unregulated business.
What does that mean? Okay, explain that to me. What does an unregulated art business mean? Because I know what regulated and unregulated means just by definition.
So on Wall Street, stocks, they have a value based on whatever holdings the company has. Right? An unregulated business is that painting cost $5,000 because I wanted to.
That makes sense. Unregulated.
There's no reason why that painting costs 10, 15, 20, 30, $1 million. Mm-hmm. Now, I know what I'm about to say is blasphemy, but I truly don't believe anything is worth $1 million. I'm sorry. I mean, it's
even an original print by, say, that was made in 1490s that was saved from Hitler's ability to put artwork in mines. One of those.
First of all, something like that should be in a museum so that all of us can see it. This idea of I own an original in my house, there's something sad about that.
It's like you're depriving others from seeing it.
Yeah.
And that's why I like the concept of galleries, is that you're able to go and see some art showcased.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Instead of going to Pom Pom's Tea House and looking at, I'm not talking smack, just a regular showing.
I love pom-poms. And
like I said, wasn't talking shit.
right. No, I think pom-poms, for example, is an amazing thing in Orlando. And let me educate you on that, for example. There are not enough places for artists to show their art. It's very difficult to get into a gallery.
Yeah.
There's no question. We're like 2 years in advance planning for shows. So when somebody comes in and says, I want you to show my art, first of all, okay. And second of all, even if it is worthy of showing here, you got to get in line for 2 years. So there's a lot of weird things that are happening worldwide, not just here in Orlando. People are opening their houses one day a month, because that's allowed by city ordinances, one day allowed to show art. I don't know how it is with selling of art, but for one day, if there's parking, you can open your house to the public to become kind of like a gallery.
No kidding. I didn't know that.
And there was a great gallery called the Guava Tree Gallery.
I heard of it. I think through you or some kind of a associate of yours.
And then there is events called Art at Home, where like a couple of artists get together and they go to somebody that has a beautiful house and they say, can we rent your house for a day and we'll throw an exhibition at your house? Or you've heard of a barlery. I actually started in a barlery. Great concept. A bar that has either an art wall or an art room.
Kind of like the Falcon has now.
Exactly.
It is a generalized showing, but it maybe not showcasing one specific artist or a multitude of artists all sharing the same kind of theme. So that's some kinds that I know of, but...
Or restaurants, or car dealership, or even disc gallery. When we opened the Daily City, which is ironic because I now am part of the PFT media family, and the Daily City is part of the PFT city. PFT is part of... The Daily City is part of PFT. They kind of slammed us, and they called us a galabbery.
What the fuck is that?
A gallery in a lobby. Because we share the space with the lobby for the building. This is an apartment building for rent.
Right.
And so at first I was horrified. But then somebody said, no, they invented the word for you. You Google galabbery, our ass comes up.
Oh, and that's pretty cool that you have a Webster's definition behind your business. That is really cool. And I want to
see how I can get that to literally Galabbery Mills Gallery, or my picture, because I see, Aaron, a lot of the things that have brought me anxiety and some suffering, I've been able to, I don't know whether it's maturity or people talking to me, I've been able to turn this around. Harold Gard, 95, told me, if they're talking about you, good or bad, always good. Always good.
You should heed his advice.
I am.
You
I'm
are,
sharing.
But you're dwelling on one newspaper.
I'm not dwelling on it.
You're thinking about it.
It's a good example. How else can I talk about this without giving you an example?
But here's the thing that I was saying about the YouTube star. Okay. The YouTube star had told me one thing. He goes, interact with the first 10 to 15 comments on the page. After that, that's when the trolls come in.
I totally forgot about this. So, there have been many fascinating parts of this story that I'm in. On opening night in 2016...
Which went... By the way, before we continue, we are actually in the art gallery right now.
Yes.
What's the address here?
1650 North Mills. We're right next to a Fresh Market. We are the first floor of a luxury apartment building called the Gallery at Mills Park. And so we're called Mills Gallery to kind of separate us, but it doesn't matter. People know it as the Gallery at Mills Park. I should have just called it Boris's Gallery, because that's what it's boiling down to. And God, I forgot what I was going to tell you. And it was good.
Maybe we'll get back there.
Okay.
What was the word? What was the word that you were...
Galabbery.
Galabbery. It's a very unique word, and I'm glad that it associates.
I remember.
Excellent. That's what I was trying to do. I was killing time.
So on opening night 2016, we got pranked. Do you know a band called We the Kings? It's a local band. They had a big hit with Demi Lovato. You You must know these people, right?
I don't personally know them. I know of them, but I keep hearing them on the radio. I'm like, who are these guys? This is actually you letting me know that they're a local band. I didn't know that.
Yeah, and so the drummer used to live here, and he has a YouTube channel. And I think he has like 75,000 subscribers.
We'll get there.
He pranked me on opening night.
What did he do?
What he did is, and I will send you the links to this so you can see it, but he painted a horrible painting of a little house of a barn, and he put it against the wall while we weren't watching with a price that he wrote by hand, and he wanted to see if it was brought to us, if we knowingly would accept money for a painting that we knew wasn't ours.
That's fucking savage, man.
Whether we were a dirty gallery. This piece, this little film, has been seen by over 2 million people. And talk about comments that are hurtful. It's called, the thing is called How to Put My Crap into a Gallery. At one point, they blank out my face, but then in the very next scene, they don't. And my father and my mother and other important prominent people in our community are shown next to it. And even though I have made up with this guy, we're friends now, I was kind of hurt by the fact that somebody would want to hurt us so deeply, so quickly, and so publicly. I learned a lesson. I did the right thing.
That explains the Stalin paranoia then. Wow. I mean, that is a legitimately good reason to be a little bit paranoid about how you run your business and the attention that you're getting. That was a story that I needed in the beginning that kind of justified the sense of needing why Stalin killed off so many people because of his own fucking paranoia. You got it, man. You did it. If you got 2 million views on a YouTube video, no wonder. No wonder.
But going back to what you said, it's what the comments are. So I had my friend Patty Sheehan, the openly gay city commissioner.
Right.
So I was telling her about this, and she said, "You didn't read the comments, did you?" And of course I did, because it's like something like 15,000 comments. I haven't read them all, but they're brutal. They said about me, he looks like Mr. Mackey from South Park. And
oh, fuck off. That's not even funny. That's just
no, it's kind of funny.
It's brutally mean.
It's brutal. It's mean, and they made, again, homophobic comments left and right. But what really was an interesting tool for me, a teaching tool, is these were obviously mostly young people talking about that. No wonder I hate art galleries. All the art looks like crap. And it's not true. We had 2 amazing artists that night. The 2 artists that started the gallery, one of them, of course, has passed.
Sorry to hear that.
Yeah. But I was like, wow, that's the first time I got the hint that young people don't like galleries. I never even realized that, And that's how my career pretty much started,
Welcome to the end zone, basically.
Let's talk about the teaching, because I have not talked about the teaching.
Yeah, we kind of brushed over that really quickly. But tell me about it. I mean, how does one go from Germany to learn? I guess I kind of follow the story now, is that you lived in Nicaragua for so long. By the way, while we're doing with that, how old were you when you were in Nicaragua to... Give me the ages.
So roughly. I'm thinking I arrived at Nicaragua at the age of 5, and we left when I was 14, and I've been here from 1979 on, because I'm 53, so that's 40 years. Yeah, 40. Yeah, that works.
Okay, that explains why there's not a heavy German accent. How is your Spanish? Would you say? Are you like 100%?
Mi español es perfecto. Yo hablo español perfectamente.
I followed that.
Flawless. My German is flawless. My signing is flawless. However, my English is perfect. I can speak very elegantly in German and in Spanish, but I have to think about it, kind of allow myself some composition time. But English, I don't have to. English is quick. And one of the things is that I understand is when I go to Germany, for example, 2 or 3 days into it, I start dreaming in German. And for people who don't speak other languages, that's a really interesting thing. You don't understand that. It's weird.
my wife tells me about it, that when she has a dream in English,